to pump, it needs to have some electrical signal, and the electrical signal arises in the right upper chamber, and then it passes the current in both the upper chambers and then the lower chambers, and then the heart contracts, and then it supplies blood and oxygen to the entire body. So the main function of the heart is to supply oxygenated blood, that is a pure blood, to the whole body, and so it is known as the pump house of the human body. If you feel if there is any question in between, you can always interrupt and ask in between as well. So what is heart disease? Now when we talk of heart disease, generally people understand a disease which is known as coronary artery disease, meaning that the arteries which are supplying the blood to the heart. Now heart supplies blood to the whole body, but the heart to function itself also needs blood supply. So there are certain vessels which we call it as coronary arteries which supply blood to the heart, and if there is blockage in those arteries, the blood supplies to the heart gets reduced, and then it is known as coronary artery disease, and people understand that coronary artery disease is the only heart disease. However, as you can understand, the heart is a huge organ and has a lot of structures, muscles, the outer layer of the heart, the electrical system, and then the many valves. So it can have a lot of diseases, of which the most common is the coronary heart disease, but there could be other diseases like disorders of heart rhythm, of which I am the specialist, so I focus on that. But the other could be the muscle itself is weak, so heart muscle disease. Then there could be certain disorders where the heart structure is abnormal right from the birth, and then we call it as congenital heart disease. And then the valves may be leaking, or they may be shrunken, so or stenosed, when we call it as a valvular heart disease. And then high blood pressure or hypertension sometimes can result in heart disease, and this is also one of the different types of heart disease. So there could be a lot of different heart disease, not only coronary artery disease, which is though the most common heart disease. Now, how does the fat deposits in the blood vessels? Now, the blockage in the arteries occurs because of fat deposition. And how does it happen? The cholesterol is produced by the liver, and we consume it from our food intake in the form of meat and dairy products, and this gets deposited in the vessels of the heart, and then it causes the blockage. And so this is the wall of the artery, and you see that there is some plaque deposition, and then it builds up over the years, and then there is partially blocked artery. When the blockage becomes more than 70%, it results in production of symptoms of heart disease, and once it is 100%, it results in heart attack. Now can anybody tell at what age this process of plaque formation starts?
Very small age.
Very small age, perfect. So when we talk about heart disease prevention, it has to start from small age itself. In fact, there are certain studies which have shown that it even starts in utero. When the child is in the mother's womb, the process can start at that stage itself. So it is not that one has to take precautions once one becomes an adult or becomes 40 years of age. The process has to start right from the childhood. So all those things that I am going to advise in the next few minutes has to be followed by each and everybody, including children. So once the blockage becomes 100%, there is sudden increase in the blockage from say 70 or 80% to 100%, then what is known as heart attack or myocardial infarction occurs, and this results in sudden acute symptoms and sometimes can even lead to death of the patient. So this is heart attack, and so the idea of prevention of heart disease is to prevent heart attack as well as other problems related to the heart. So what are the reasons why heart disease or coronary artery disease occurs? There are many risk factors. Risk factors are variables which can be either modified or may not be modifiable, which result in the development of the heart disease. And if there are multiple risk factors, the risk becomes more and more. And there are certain which cannot be modified. For example, family history. If suppose my father has a heart disease, I cannot change my father. So I will have that risk because my father had a heart disease. So this is hereditary transmitted over the families. Then age and sex again cannot be changed. So males have a higher disease of heart disease, then higher risk of heart disease than females. And then certain risk factors which are modifiable, and that should be our target, so that if we modify these factors, we can in fact prevent development of heart disease itself. And these include smoking, obesity, and stress, which is becoming more and more common in today's world. And then there are certain diseases like diabetes or high blood sugar, hypertension or high blood pressure, increased cholesterol, and all these cannot be eliminated, but certainly can be controlled by either lifestyle modification or by drugs. And controlling these risk factors can also prevent development of heart disease. So everybody knows that smoking is bad. Why is smoking bad? Because it not only can cause heart disease, but many other diseases. The lung disease, you must have all read in newspapers the photo which Dr. Naresh Trian shared with Arvind Kejriwal of lungs of a patient living in Delhi and those living in rural areas, where you found that the lung was almost totally black due to pollution. Similar effect can occur with smoking, and it is very important to realize that even if you don't smoke, if you are standing with somebody who is smoking, you also get the risk of heart disease and all the bad effects of smoking, and that is known as passive smoking. So make it a point that if you're somebody related to you or somebody in your neighborhood is a smoker, you should always advise in a practical way that they should avoid smoking. They should know that the smoking has a lot of ill effects, and you can play a large role in the society because they will be listening to you. Your father will listen to you. They may not listen to his wife, but he may listen to you. So you can also play a role in quitting smoking in your relatives. And if a person tries to quit smoking, is not able to do so by himself, there are always potential helps available with doctors, with professional help, and there are certain non-nicotine inhalers or nicotine gums which are available, which can help in quitting smoking in a person who wants to quit but is not able to quit because it's like an addiction. So those methods are also available. Again, alcohol. Now there is a myth which is going on for ages that moderate drinking is good for health and it is good for heart. Now we all know, and there are a lot of studies to show that drinking in any form, in any amount, has a cumulative effect, and it is harmful to a lot of organs of the body, the liver, the pancreas, the lungs, and in fact the heart also. And then now recent studies in Europe and US, again they are rethinking on it whether moderate drinking is good for heart or not. So in any form drinking is not good, and in fact in countries like ours, the 90% of the social problems and traffic accidents are actually because of alcohol. So alcohol should not be recommended for anybody to prevent heart disease, and in fact whosoever drinks alcohol, they should always be advised to stop that. Yes, so whether it is wine or any other form of alcohol, it has the same effect. Now the Europeans have a tendency to have wine with their lunch or dinner, and they think that moderate regular drinking is good for the heart. It may be partially true that if you limit your intake to say 1 or 30 or 60 ml of alcohol in a day, it may help the heart, but it has a harmful effect on the other organs. And the major problem with this strategy of having a moderate drinking regularly is that you get addicted to it, and then there is no limit. You may think that you are taking only 30, but you will gradually increase that 30 ml to 90 ml and then so on and so forth. So the idea is it should not be used altogether. Now obesity. Again, when does the process of obesity start? Anybody? From in utero. Again, it has been found that there are certain genetic factors, and then in fact one can actually predict who is going to be obese in his adulthood from certain genetic studies in a small child. And so prevention of obesity should start from childhood itself. Now, who is obese? There is an index called as body mass index, which is useful for adults, not for children, which is weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squares. And the normal values have been defined in the Western countries, which are as written here, but in India, in fact, the limits are actually more stricter. The normal is from 18 to 23.5. So whoever is more than 23.5 of BMI is an overweight, and more than 28.5 is an obese. Other important thing is that the waist